Canberra Metalheads.
The Archives.
Me and You Season 2. Alright, let's kick it.
Hello and welcome to the interview section of Canberra Metalheads. You got Marky Malphas
and JDecay.
Joined in the studio here with the boys from Live Evil.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm the vocalist in Live Evil.
And Jason, lead guitar.
Excellent. Good to have you guys in the studio, and we've sort of been crossing paths with a few gigs around the place lately. I think it was New Year's Eve. I sent a message to Bobby and said, "Hey, look, I want to get you guys on the show and start queuing it up." So here we are, a few weeks later, and got you in ready to chat.
Yeah, it's cool. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, always good to have you on. Now at the top there, we listened to a Dio track, "King of Rock and Roll." You guys suggested that one as, you know, it had some sort of resonance with the band. Could you maybe talk a little bit more about what that has to do with you guys?
Yeah, well, we actually, Jason and I, come up with the idea of forming Live Evil a long time ago. Like, what is it?
11,
12 years, something, 11
like
12
that,
years. And the whole concept was we wanted to do a Dio show just for fun, just for absolute fun, shits and giggles. And so Dio was really what got us together.
Yep.
We found the players that we needed at the time and put it together and did a show at the old green room, which was upstairs in Phillip.
Yep.
And surprisingly enough, we got 200 people came to the show.
Whoa.
So we kind of...
what year was that?
Well, that was about 12 years ago.
Yo,
before
okay.
Well before he died.
Yeah, right.
We just had such a good time that we decided to keep doing it, and so we did a few more Dio shows and had a blast, lots of fun, lots of people came and enjoyed it, and then we sort of found ourselves in a position, well, you can only do Dio so many times in Canberra, everybody's seen the show, what should we do next? And it was sort of a pretty obvious thing to move to Maiden from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Maiden's been an ongoing thing for us, amongst other things that we've done, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got a phone call from Matt way back when saying, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing a Dio show.
Yep.
Do you want to play guitar for it?" And I was like, "Hells yes, I want to play guitar for it."
Yeah.
Even though I didn't know at that time a big portion of his catalogue at all. But I knew some of the key hits and whatnot. And I was more excited, to tell you the truth, about playing guitar alongside Matt. And I'm like, this is sweet. We're going to get to trade some licks. And Matt's like, no, I want to focus on singing and really do Dio justice, which he does. So I'm like, right, I'm going to have to pull my finger out and do some practicing because there's a lot of shredding that happens in those solos.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and the Maiden thing, I think, was one of those things where when we were talking about, I think we're onto something, that was a lot of fun. And there was I remember there was a kid right down the front playing air guitar during Don't Talk to Strangers solo. There's a big arpeggio run that goes up the neck. And he was there playing the whole thing, and I was like, holy crap, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then you never walk down the street and don't see an Iron Maiden t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
So like,
That's exactly right.
Fans everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a natural progression, I guess. And, you know, also, if you've got the vocal range as well, you may as well go into that if you have the ability and obviously the skills to do it justice, which you guys definitely do. Were you guys always called Live Evil from the start?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. there were lots of silly ideas for the tribute show name.
Yep.
But yeah, we settled on Live Evil. It sort of made sense because of the Dio Sabbath album. And we couldn't come up with anything that didn't sound really stupid.
Yeah. It's funny where sometimes...
The Holy Divers.
Rock and roll children.
Yeah.
It's sometimes funny where like the working track title or the working title becomes the polished edition. You're like, well, actually we nailed it when we thought of just something random.
Well, and it's just luck too, because later on when you do Maiden, Live After Death, it kind of goes.
Yep.
So it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those things we had to start getting posters and things out and advertising, so it really came down to that one will do.
Yeah,
that's a cool name, and it seems to be the least cheesy out of all of them.
Yep.
And it's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. So you mentioned that you had a conversation about playing guitar and things like that. What were your projects at the time? Were you in a band when you got the call?
I was in an old covers band called Piston Broke, and I was actually on my way down the coast to do a gig.
Yep.
And pulled over when Matt called.
Right.
And he's like, don't worry about it, man. We'll talk later. I'm like, no, I want to hear it now, because I was looking at moving on. From that band at the time.
Yep.
Because we were just doing the same songs in the same order at the same venues, week in, week out. And it was kind of like, I want to learn something new and do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew I needed somebody that could actually do it, and I knew that Jason had the skill to pull off the licks properly.
Yep.
And I'd known him for a few years, and we got on really well. So
That's awesome.
He was the obvious choice
Yeah.
at the time, and we just had to find the rhythm section and the keyboard player, and Jason sort of come through with most of that with people that he knew.
Yeah, okay, so that's how it all came together.
Yeah.
Have you always had the same lineup, or have you changed it over the years?
We've got a core section, really, which is Duncan Beard on drums.
Yep.
He's been the drummer since the beginning.
Yep.
We've swapped out bass players multiple times, and we currently have Brett, who's a fabulous, lovely guy. We've had multiple bass players, good bass players.
Yep.
And we've had a few keyboard players.
Oh, cool.
Our first keyboard player was Jimmy, a good mate of Jason's, and he's moved interstate.
Yep.
And and of course we've had Bob. Bob was sort of like almost like a surrogate member that we needed to do the Maiden show.
Yep.
But we didn't need him for if we did a Dio show.
Yeah, okay.
And so he's come in and he's become a member of the band, but sometimes we'll go and do something where the second guitar player isn't needed. But generally speaking, Bob's tight with us, and we need him for Maiden, we need him for Judas Priest. And these days, if we're doing a mixed metal night, which we have coming up in March.
That's right, on the 1st of March, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, at the basement.
At the basement.
Bob ends up learning parts that keep him involved anyway. So, yeah.
So he's sort of renewing his membership automatically, by the way. Yeah, that's good. No, well, I've had Bob in on the show as part of Wretch, and also I haven't had a chance to have Duncan in here, but like I've chatted to him a lot at the bar, and it seems like you got a good core group of people there. And like I said, Bob was the one that got the hook up on this just through knowing him from Wretch and seeing you guys perform all the time.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, I think I first met Bobby. He was working at Cash Converters down in Belconnen.
Yeah, right.
Many moons ago, and I went in and just fiddled on some guitars, and he came over and had a chat.
Yep.
And it was around that time that Matt gave me the call about the Live Evil thing.
Yep.
And he said, I saw this ad and I'm joining this covers band, and it was the Piston Broke covers band.
Right, okay.
And so I sort of went out, we high-fived each other, he went in.
Yep.
And then I still went along and jammed with them every so often, because it was fun having somebody new there.
Yeah.
So every so often I'd get up and have a jam with them.
Yep.
And then when the Live Evil thing kicked off and we were talking about doing Maiden, he was like, I want in.
Yeah, cool.
Because we'd sort of spoken about the whole Judas Priest Iron Maiden thing as well.
Yep.
So things kind of lined up pretty well. And Canberra's a small town as well.
Oh, exactly. I mean, Cash Converters is a big part of the metal scene. How many times, like, it's surprising the amount of people I've spoken to that have actually worked there at some point. And I mean, let's be honest, there's probably a lot of guitars that are on stage through multiple different owners, handed through that same place.
Yeah.
Accidental advertising for Cash Converters. All right, so you guys were saying, we've been doing it for a long time. You've been playing in a lot of venues. You started off in your first gig at the Green Room. What other venues have you played around town? Obviously, we know about the Basement, but is there any spots that you've played at recently?
We do the Transit Bar.
Yeah.
Where else have we've done a few really big shows at the Hellenic Club.
Yep.
Which has been different bands, different tribute shows.
How's that fill out? Like what's the venue? It's like fairly sizable sort of
1,100.
crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, between 800 and 1,100 people. 800 and 1,100 people.
Yeah.
We've done there at the Hellenic Club, but that's a. We haven't gone there and done... Oh, we have done Maiden there, actually. We've done Iron Maiden at the Hellenic Club.
Okay.
We've done Monsters of Rock there. Remember?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
but
I've seen
we-
that advertised.
Yeah, but
actually.
we've also done, more mainstream acts there, basically as this core group.
Yep.
Live Evil, we just called it a different name.
Yep.
But we've gone up and played the Ballface Stag. We played a few other venues in Sydney.
At ANU.
ANU. Oh, that's
When
right,
it
the
was
ANU
around,
bar.
yeah.
We did the ANU bar several times.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
the
just around the place.
Same venues as most of the other metal bands play, I guess.
Yeah, that's
we
cool.
We did just after Dio passed, we played PJ O'Reilly.
PJ O'Reilly's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I think that's the first time I've heard a gig at PJ O'Reilly's mentioned on the show, so there's one to add to the inventory. Just keeping a catalogue of all the venues around town, I guess, so people can go out and see live music. And also, like, Jay was mentioned that he played a gig with you guys up in Sydney at
Ballface
Stag as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It's cool, always cool to have that crossover. I mean, me, myself, not being in a band, it's always good to have Jay, like, chime in on stuff like, oh, I remember playing with you guys, like, at this venue, or with those guys, or things like that. So, it's always good to, mix it up and learn about new venues.
Yeah, well, yeah, there are some good venues here in town. It'd be great if there were more, but you hear people all the time, Canberrans don't go out and see gigs, and unfortunately it's the case. I think we get more people, and bands like us and nights where the tribute nights get more people than original hard-working bands that are trying to be artistic and put their own thing out there. I think we get more people than they do, which is a bit of a shame.
I think it's starting to turn a little bit recently, just because of the amount of
bigger international bands coming through.
Oh yeah, well that's cool.
Yeah. So I noticed that a lot of the time, bands that are supporting bigger internationals are getting more exposure. We mentioned before that word exposure. It's not quite currency, but it seems to be traded off as it sometimes. But I think that some of the bigger international bands that are coming through, obviously with places like the Basement expanding and having a bigger capacity, it opens up the gates to having it opens up the gates to having bigger bands come through, and the locals getting lifted up with them a little bit. But yeah, you're right. There was a long time where I can remember. Obviously, I've been working at the Basement since 2012. I've watched the evolution of cover bands, locals, originals, and all that stuff. And yeah, like I said, it's starting to turn a little bit at the moment, and I put it down to the bigger internationals. But yeah, it's good to hear that you guys, from your perspective, are seeing that as well, like as far as playing covers.
Yeah, I'd like to put aside the stigma of being in a cover band, being in a tribute band.
Yeah.
That not just because I'm in one and I've been doing it for years. I mean, I've done original stuff too.
Yep.
But it's just good fun, know. And if people want to have nostalgia, they're going to have nostalgia anyway. They go home and put on an old record that they used to listen to in high school, and they're going to get nostalgic.
Yep.
So why should they not be able to go out and see a nostalgia-based band as entertainment?
Live as well.
Live, that's right. And I mean, go and see an original band too, and delve into what's current and now and what somebody's trying to put out there. That's just as important, for yourself socially and for your own personal development, and hopefully for the development of the artists that you're going to see. Yep. But certainly it's all entertainment, and we have a really good time doing our entertainment. At rehearsals we just start laughing when we get there, and we don't stop laughing till we leave. Do we, we're
awesome.
Always taking the piss out of one another, and just having fun with the songs, and they're classic songs that we love, Moonchild, Duncan,
20 times.
Let's just play Moonchild 9 times at this gig.
And it's funny because just about it could be any song. Just as you get to the end of it and somebody makes a little error or something, it's like, whoa. From the top.
From the top. Do it again, Duncan.
Yeah.
From the top.
Yeah. But it's awesome because our rehearsals are very much kind of a social event for us.
Yeah.
Like Matt was saying, it's just full of laughs, playing classic material. And then, although it hasn't been lately because we haven't rehearsed so much over the last few months or whatever it's been, but for a while
extract the digit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But afterwards, it's all out onto the deck. The blue cheese comes out, a beer. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
You guys.
let's get rehearsal out of the way so we can
hang out.
go have a beer. Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I wonder if Duncan shares the same passion when it comes to Wretch. Has Bobby ever been able to weigh in on that? Whether it's back at the start again, if there's any little slip-ups?
Well, their songs only last 25 seconds, so it's not too bad.
It's grindcore. I don't think anybody noticed.
Maybe they play the full album. If there's any mistakes, they start again.
Yeah, possibly. I reckon they probably have as much fun though, because their personalities wouldn't be different depending on which band they're rehearsing with.
Yeah.
I reckon they probably have just as much laughs.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
Wretch.
Yeah, well, they seem like they have a lot of fun on stage, so I don't think it'd be any different when they're in the rehearsal room.
Nah.
Cool.
You guys are all a bunch of super professional dudes, and you always put on a great live performance.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, cheers.
Well, it's just fun,
Yeah.
The more fun you have doing something, the more you want to do it.
Yeah, well,
that
you guys do justice to everything that you put out. You know what I mean? Like you can see that you guys put a lot of time into it, and it shows.
Yeah,
and that good attitude, kind of, that you're having fun, also shows when you're doing a live performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big shouts out.
And I think that was one of the core things when we were putting it together, was all the tunes that we were picking at the time had either massive vocals like Child in Time by Deep Purple or Burn or Dio or Bruce Dickinson or whatever it was, or it had this insane guitar solo or massive drums and everything. Everything was kind of like had sort of a wow
factor about it. Yeah.
Which also made it fun, because to stand up there for half of Child in Time I don't play at all, but to watch an audience sit there and do I'm not even attempt to sing it, but all the screams in Child in Time, go check it out if you haven't heard it. And Matt just slays it. Like I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it. We haven't played it for like 5 years or something, but but it was just insane. It was very, very cool. Yeah.
No, that's good. It's good to hear that you guys are also a fan of each other as well. It helps keep that mesh, the mesh in the band all like tied together.
Oh yeah, we are actual fans of each other and really good friends.
Yep.
And I think we don't hang out either, and so it's sort of, there's a little bit of what am I trying to say? Where absence makes the heart grow fonder.
There we go.
So when we do get together, it's a real gas.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. It's sort of like, we'll hang out as we practice, like you said before. It's like, I guess if you guys were just hanging out without practicing, then you probably would see each other. You wouldn't practice as much, I guess, because you'd be seeing each other. So
we haven't done the tour bus thing, so we haven't lived in each other's pockets necessarily. I think the guys in Wretch have a bit.
Yeah.
But
we spoke to him after the tour actually, so we got sort of like the first-hand scoop on that.
Yeah, there was a bit going on there. I mean, we've done a couple of like micro tours, a couple of micro tours up to Sydney to do a few gigs in a row and stuff like that. Yeah. But they were just blinders.
Yeah, and they're extended rehearsals. They were just fun.
Rehearsals. Yeah.
So where do you guys practice at? Is it a rehearsal space or is it at someone's house?
We're kind of pretty fortunate. Duncan has a rehearsal space and I have a rehearsal space.
Yep.
So we kind of juggle it a little bit, and just and do it that way. Yeah. So that saves us money and we can rehearse when it's convenient for all of us. We're not governed by available spaces in rehearsal rooms, and the rehearsal rooms in Canberra are good. We're just fortunate.
But we've had a lot of good feedback about rehearsal rooms around the place. But we've also heard that like we've said, sometimes people they might not have something available for them, and they can practice at someone's house or wherever they can do it. So I guess wherever it is, they just coming together and playing is what's the most important part. Just whether or not how comfortable it is, whether it's like roasting hot in a small room or in an actual rehearsal area. Yeah. It's like how many $8 fans can we get from Kmart to make this?
Our rehearsals, well, particularly at Duncan's place, it's a sauna.
Yeah.
And gorillas in the mist. By the time we walk out of there, everybody, myself anyway, and the other guys, but it's just head to toe.
We were dripping last Wednesday, weren't we?
It makes you, it's sort of not just a rehearsal for playing the music, but also the feeling of being on that stage under all those stage lights, I guess. It's like a body rehearsal.
It's a little bit of that, but it's also, that first beer afterwards is like, doesn't touch the sides.
Right?
Yeah.
It makes it that much sweeter.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good fun though.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys, like you mentioned, you've done the Dio stuff and the Iron Maiden stuff. Is there any other like prospects that you guys have been juggling up with to move into?
We talk about lots of things.
Yeah. We've got a backlog of show and ideas register.
Yep.
Sort of thing. We've spoken about doing classic albums, Master of Puppets versus whatever it is, British Steel or Rust in Peace or something, and. We did the Big Four tribute show years ago.
Jason a couple of times Jason has written out the set list, right? And there's probably 100 songs that we've played.
Oh yeah. Well and truly. I think there was 180 songs.
180 was it? Yeah, just that we've played.
Ooh.
And that they've consisted of Dio. Then we did a show called Aussie versus Dio.
Yep.
And then we went to Maiden.
Yep.
And then we did Maiden a few times, and then we decided we did classic metal night, which we just went, what's some favourites?
Yep.
Here's some stuff that we've done already, and let's learn these handful and make it a classic metal night. And then we did the Big Four.
Yep.
So
then Deep Purple.
And then we did Deep Purple and Judas Priest.
Yep.
And so we end up with this massive list of songs that we can do, and that we've got, if we, let's do this. So we brush them ones up or whatever.
Yeah.
But the consistent one has been Maiden.
Yeah.
Once we started doing that, the popularity of it allowed us to play it multiple times a year, and do a slightly different version of it. We'd go and do some Di'Anno stuff. We'd do something really modern, or we could do the entire Live After Death album or something like that, but there's kind of sounds a bit on ourselves. There's kind of nothing we can't do, but it's just coming up with something that we think is going to be enjoyed, and people are going to go, far out, that's a great idea, let's go and watch that sounds like
meshes
fun.
With the set list sort of thing.
Have we done a complete Sabbath one?
No, we just did when we did the Aussie versus Dio.
Yep.
I mean, obviously when we did Dio, we did a couple of Sabbath songs or Heaven and Hell songs and
that's
whatnot.
Right. And when we did Aussie versus Dio, we chose some.
Yeah, we chose half a dozen
Aussie Sabbath.
And then mixed them all up as the encore.
Yep.
So that people got a taste and just sort of alternated them, which was very cool. Like the song Heaven and Hell. Man, I love that song. Even now, 10 years later, it's like
it's great fun to play.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a lot, like Jason said, we've got a lot of ideas on the back burner that we'd like to do. One of the ones that sticks in my mind was a night of wine and cheese.
Yeah.
And that I thought, was it Bob came up with that?
Yeah.
Wine and cheese. And so that was wine. Wine was Dave Mustaine, right? And the cheese was hair metal. So we do Megadeth and hair metal, wine and cheese. But we've never really got that one off the ground. But
there was another one. What was the other one? There was another one that was it new wave of British heavy metal or UK versus US metal bands.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff, classic material.
That's good.
Yeah.
So the wine and cheese thing, that just says Bob all over it, man.
Does,
like that's the ideas that dude has is like when he was talking about the doom metal band they created, which is using Duncan's snoring on recording. so there was. I'm not surprised by the wine and cheese idea after that.
Yeah, it's very Bob.
Yeah.
Good on you, Bobby.
Yeah, and all the
little dog.
Drink another cider.
Your Greens voter.
Oh man, getting some of that that vocal action there through some of the voices, just a taste of what the vocal range is possible with you, man. There we go, exclusive. We so we spoke earlier about some upcoming gigs. You guys have got one at the Basement in March. When was the date for that? The first
of March. Yep.
Okay, and what was the show for? The
It was a mixed metal night.
Yep.
So we were approached by a lovely couple that I met each other at one of our shows years ago.
Okay.
And they're getting married, if I remember correctly, and asked us to put on a show
for a birthday.
For a birthday, yeah. And they're going to have guests, their own guests. We're going to come along as well. So tickets should be up in the next few days, in the next week or so. But yeah, that's what kicked that one off.
We've
Cool.
called that one Dealer's Choice. So they've given us sort of a rough idea of what they wanted, and it's from our extensive back catalogue of material.
Yep.
And we've just sort of chosen a cool list, and we've chosen some new songs. All of us put our heads together and sort of threw some fresh ones in the mix that we haven't played before.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's something to look out for then. We've
Yeah.
got some little bit of a tease on some new stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Well, one other thing that I think we may as well talk about, you brought in your son's band on the CD here, just as a side note.
I thought you just might like that for a local show or local music show.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, a little bit of spruik there. I mean, just as a side note, how long's that been running for? They've got a CD, so I mean that's a.
Well, that's his solo project.
Yeah.
That's a solo project.
Okay.
That's about 18 months old.
Yeah.
And it was something that he wanted to do. And I said to him, well, mate, if you write the material, we'll record it. So he wrote all the material, and I took him out to Infidel out in Queanbeyan.
Yep.
And Duncan Lowe out there recorded it for him, and he played all the instruments, and it's sort of proggy, doomy, noise inspired. He listens to stuff like Hannah Tarash and Mers Bow and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
and Cathedral and
Yeah.
but also he's a huge Steve Vai fan, so there's proggy and prog stuff on it and stuff like that. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Sick.
And I suppose I have to open my mouth. Steve Vai's actually on it, on the CD.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
Steve Vai plays a solo on the last track.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you'll have to have a listen to it later and see if you want to use it in one of your other shows.
Yep. So Saxon Davis.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I might even open the show with that one. Like, have something local to expose.
Yeah, cool.
Well, to play.
It's available at Landspeed, that album.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Utopia. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that's awesome. A good little spruik there just for the for that, and it's good to hear that it's up and coming.
Yeah, he's actually in another band called Rip Salvation.
Yep.
Which are playing at the Untapped Festival on the 9th of February.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that.
Been following them on social media for a little while.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No.
That's good, man.
Good kids.
Yep.
It's good to see. Next gen.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we mentioned before we couldn't have Bobby or Duncan in the studio this time, and maybe another time we'll be able to get them back. But in lieu of them not being here, we figured we may as well close out the show with a Wretch song.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Just so that we can kind of feel like we're going to have them in here with us.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any preference of any? Do you have an idea of a Wretch song? I've got their albums here, but
That one that was banned.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one.
We spoke about that one on the show when they came in. Yeah, so we'll chuck that one on after. And to close out the interviews, but definitely put that one on just to feel like we got Duncan and Bobby in here with us, kind of spiritually.
Yeah, they're always deep in my heart. You know I love you.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks very much for coming in and speaking a little bit more about Live Evil, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the 1st of March at the Basement.
No worries. It was great to be in here, and I'd just like to say one thing. Thanks to all the people that continuously come to our shows and support us and have a good time. So it's it's an honour and a privilege. And no, but I no, but I mean it. We really are thankful that we can continue to have a lot of fun, and a lot of other people come and have a lot of fun with us. So it's a cool thing to be involved with.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks very much for having us as well.
Yeah,
it was
welcome,
fun.
Man.
Yeah, and thanks for calling me 12 years ago to say,
no worries,
you
buddy.
want to play guitar.
Oh, well, I needed somebody that could actually do it and somebody actually liked. So
yeah, I just scraped above the line.
Oh no! Well,
through lack of other choice, I got the call.
No way. Jason's the gun guitar player. It's fantastic to be playing with him.
Perfect. All right. Well, like I said, thanks for coming in on the show, and thanks for all the music so far that you've brought to the scene. And I'm sure all the fans are twice as appreciative to be able to hear a little bit more about you guys behind the scenes.
Cool.
Cheers.
All the best. Hi, I'm Matt from Live Evil, and you're listening to Canberra Metalheads on. Wow! Bam!